Welcome to SNN Live. We're broadcasting from our studios in Los Angeles, California. I'm Shelley Kraft, and today I have as my guests Dan Bates, the CEO of ImpactPPA. Dan, welcome to SNN Live.
Thank you, Shelley. It's great to be here.
It's good to have you. And also I have James Young, the CTO of ImpactPPA. James, welcome to SNN Live.
Thanks for having us.
It's good to have you. Okay, let's get started with an overview of the company. Dan, I'll throw that question to you.
Very good. ImpactPPA was started to solve a problem. The problem of how do you get energy to people in need around the world. It's designed around a blockchain technology, it's disruptive, and it's moving forward with projects identified around the world.
What's disruptive about it?
Good question, Shelley. The problem as I see it is that getting a project done in Africa, in India, in Latin America, wherever it might be, historically you've got to go through layers and layers of finance to get that project to fruition. It sometimes could take as long as 5 or 10 years to get a 100-megawatt solar plant commissioned. Well, that doesn't get power to the people who need it right now. Using the structure that we built with ImpactPPA and the blockchain, we feel that we can empower a community of socially responsible folks who want to get aid or power or whatever to those people as quickly as possible.
Now, I just want to, let's get into the name ImpactPPA. What does that all stand for?
Okay, good question. The idea was obviously impact. How do we positively impact people's lives as quickly as possible? The PPA part of it stands for Power Purchase Agreement, which is historically how energy is financed and purchased over time.
Okay. Now, James, you're CTO of the company, so
Yep.
let's start out with your background, if you would.
So I have 15 plus years of software development experience. Most notably, I helped launch a game called Farmville, a social game, and recently launched a crypto token as well in June of this year.
James, as CTO of the company, can you tell me what's the history behind blockchain, if you would?
Sure. The first blockchain was called Bitcoin, and actually no one knows who invented it. It was done by a person or a group of people going under a pseudonym, Satoshi Nakamoto. And the technology behind blockchain has existed in different forms because there are many different parts. The innovation was putting these technologies together in a very specific way. In so much of it's kind of like creating a game. And you can think of the blockchain as a database. So it just tracks data. The characteristic and what's unique about this database is that it can be used by anyone. So it's permissionless. But it's also peer-to-peer. So not only is it permissionless, but nobody owns it. Anyone can use it, but no one controls it.
James, explain, what is crypto-currencies and what's the relationship to the blockchain, if you would?
So Bitcoin was the first blockchain. It was a very simple ledger, a simple database. There have been improvements. So there's another project called Ethereum, which is a separate blockchain. And it not only is a database where you store data, it actually will allow you to store code. And this code is called a smart contract. So what we're doing at ImpactPPA is we're creating the code or the smart contract that mints another token. And we're going to be using this token in ImpactPPA as part of the core project.
So Dan, let me ask you, let's get back to ImpactPPA for a minute and tell me, how does it work and what sets it apart from how things are done today?
Okay, so projects are very difficult to get funded and green-lit around the world. What ImpactPPA is solving the problem for is how do we bring real change to communities in Africa, in India, wherever it might be, using the blockchain, allowing the community to participate in the decision-making process to bring real change to citizens or communities all over the world.
And your Impact is focused in the energy sector. So you're actually building a grid for these communities. So let's just finish off with that, if you would.
So in many cases, we're going to be building microgrids for these small villages. In some cases where the demand is there, we'll be building more utility-scale grid-tied projects. But those projects, just like the ones I mentioned before, are difficult to fund. They're just not getting done. 16% of the world's population doesn't have power. We can solve that problem.
What do you think the response of the community will be to these projects?
We think it's going to be overwhelming. First of all, from the social good that it can do all the way down to the end user, but to the impact investor who wants to see real change happen throughout the world. We are a facilitation engine for that. We can bring projects to people right now.
James, explain to me, if you would, I'm hitting you on technical information.
Yep.
Let's go deeper into how does the token work for ImpactPPA?
Yeah, that's the real exciting part. So as a token holder, you can participate, you can vet, and you can approve of these projects. And we think that using the blockchain, which is this database, again, that everyone can use that no one owns, it really facilitates and optimizes that process.
Okay. Dan, back to you.
Sure.
What's your revenue model?
The revenue model is very clear. We are going to be able to contract with governments, utility companies, even individuals under the model of a very known power purchase agreement. A power purchase agreement is a simple agreement amongst parties that says, I will pay you X per kilowatt hour or energy unit for X number of years. Typically, they run 20 or 25 years.
Tell me about your management team. I know there's two of you sitting here right now.
That's right. Well, we've got James, of course, as our CTO, and grateful to have him. We've got John Dong, who is our CFO, who has 30 years of public company experience. And myself, I've come out of the renewable energy industry for the last 9.
Let's get your website out there for more information, if you would.
Love to. Please, if you're more interested in more information, go to ImpactPPA.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Bates, James Young, ImpactPPA. It's a private company. I'm Shelley Kraft. We're coming to you from the SNNLive studios in Los Angeles. I'd like to thank both of you for coming on to this show.
Thank you, Shelley.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Good having you.